I was on a flight yesterday and I was by myself. I didn't have my kids or anything like that. And I saw an example of something I think a lot of women struggle with in their marriages, but especially when they're parents, which is that they have on paper what looks like a great partner who is a good dad, who is present and involved. But at the end of the day, they're the person carrying the mental load and like project managing the kids, right? And I say this because yesterday, I'm on this flight and there's this couple behind me. They have a toddler and it's the two parents. And the plane was one of the smaller planes. So it was the toddler and the mom on one side of the aisle and the dad on the other side of the aisle. And first, a couple came down and they asked the dad to switch with them because they wanted to sit together and they weren't in the same aisle. And he couldn't answer the question without asking his wife. He was like, "Oh, yeah, I'd be happy to switch with you, but let me ask my wife." And he said, "Hey, would it be less helpful to you if I was in that aisle up there by the window?" And she was like, "Yes, of course that would be less helpful to me if you were in a completely different aisle by a window, right? Like it's better if you're near me and our toddler than it is if you're in a different aisle." And so he said to those people, he was like, "Hey, sorry, like I can't switch. It wouldn't be helpful to my wife." Which like first and foremost, it was like he should have known that, right? Like he should have known that. But he deferred to her to respond to that question. I then offered to switch because this couple, the other person was in my row. So I was like, "I'll switch. I'll sit next to the dad." So I proceeded to sit next to this dad. And the entire flight, he was basically reading while the mom was taking the toddler to the bathroom because she said she was potty training, while the mom was feeding the toddler, while the mom was playing with the toddler. She was coloring with the toddler. She was comforting the toddler who was scared because there was turbulence, and dad was like reading his book. But he was always happy to help. He would say, "How can I help? What do you need?" And she'd say, "I need the wipes." And he was like, "Great. Where are they?" And she's like, "In the bag under your feet. Like you have the bag, they're in the bag." He'd be like, "Where in the bag?" And that was what he asked for, like everything. When the toddler had to go to the bathroom, he'd say, "Well, what should I do? And which snack do you want? Like what do you need from me?" It was basically what I think a lot of women struggle with, which is that they have these partners who are physically there and they're involved, but they wait for the direction from their partner and they leave the entire mental load with her. Like she has to pack the diaper bag, know where the wipes are, know what snacks are there, bring the arts and crafts, and then tell him what to do the entire flight. Like he couldn't make a decision without her when it came to the toddler. And I just feel like this is something so many women struggle with because their partner is sitting there being like, "Hey, I'm a good dad. Like I'm always here. I'm always happy to help. I will do anything you ask of me." And she's sitting there saying like, "I don't want to have to ask you, right? Like, and I don't want to have to tell you where the wipes are. Like, you should know where the wipes are in the diaper bag. Like, you should have helped me pack this bag for our toddler because it's a lot of work packing for yourself and a toddler for a plane ride, right? Like, that's a lot of work." And so it was just such an interesting example in real life of what it looks like when on paper you have a dad who is physically present, who is involved, who's always happy to help, and yet mom is still essentially the project manager and the person carrying the mental load. And that can be a really exhausting, frustrating dynamic.